Present.
Mr. Bruhn. Mr. Giuseppe.
Present.
Mr. Ivey.
Present.
Mr. Pontier.
Present.
Ms. Verga.
Tonight we have a couple one special guest, and we have a presentation by a couple other special guests tonight. So, Chief, if you'd like to introduce Mr. Delgado
Good evening, Council. Harry Delgado is a representative from the New Jersey State Chiefs Police Association. He is the Accreditation Commissioner or Coordinator for the entire state of New Jersey. So, with that, I'll turn it to Harry.
Thank you, Chief. It's okay if I keep here. So, just to add context of what I'm about to say, by the way, I was sketchy, so thank you for holding my hands for, I appreciate it. Just for some context of what I'm about to say, I mean, there's over 300 agencies that are accredited in the state of New Jersey. About 54% of those, actually, and let me say, it covers the entire environment law enforcement agencies, like mining, local law enforcement, sheriff's office, prosecutor's office, and colleges and universities. So out of those 54% have successfully made it once. They continue on, but they're still in the process. Those that actually get reaccredited after the initial one fall into a group of about 32%. Those that actually make it for the second reaccreditation fall into a group of about 19% of that totality that I share with you. Fourth, 7.9%. I had to redo my math this morning before I came here because the Morris Plains Police Department actually is going through their fifth reaccreditation. So that is actually a very exclusive group of law enforcement agencies of less than 4%, to be exact 3.6%. So that's really remarkable. So if you indulge me for a couple of minutes, I'd like to share with you the significance of the achievement. So Morris Plains Police Department has once again made a commitment to adhering to best practices at the state and national level in a highly regarded statewide law enforcement accreditation program. This program, administered through the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and the New Jersey Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, has helped to transparently demonstrate the professionalism, transparency, and preparedness of state's law enforcement agencies and the state's public safety system. Now, during these uniquely challenging times and the threat to our health and safety, encouraging law enforcement agencies to follow standardized practices and policies is a potentially life-saving and cost-effective investment of time and resources. Accreditation status represents a significant professional achievement. Now, this prestigious reaccredited status, I'm talking about 5 times. I can't stress that enough. That's in addition to the initial accreditation. Demonstrates Chief Michael Koroski's firm commitment to state and national standards and the continued expectations for quality, professional, and ethical policing. So, accreditation provides objective evidence of an agency's commitment to excellence in leadership, resource management, and service delivery. Government officials can be more confident in the agency's ability to operate efficiently and meet community needs. And officers in accredited agencies, such as you may be here tonight, and take pride that they have been objectively recognized for their professionalism and adherence to the high standards. Now, after those 3 years of the rigorous proofs, and the sergeant can attest to that, over 400 proofs to over 112 standards, there's a report that we generated after the on-site assessment. From that report, I'll say, and I'll paraphrase, while the Chief Michael Koroski's leadership, high level of competence, leadership, and professionalism is evident within the agency, the Morris Plains Police Department has a proud history with a foundation in community policing. Whether future issues deal with staffing levels, an experience gap, or infrastructure, this agency continued to assertively move, with a history and commitment to following best practices with a preparedness plan and a verification of excellence. We don't play gotcha, but typically when we come here for the final assessment, there's something that we find that can be settled at that time. In the case of the Morris Plains Police Department, I say again, we tried but we couldn't. So they had a remarkable on-site assessment. So it is the opinion of the assessment team that the Morris Plains Police Department is a highly professional and committed agency, which exemplifies the law lieutenants of law enforcement accreditation at state and national standard level. And therefore, what is in matter here tonight, on behalf of the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and the New Jersey Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, to congratulate Chief Michael Koroski, Accreditation Manager Sergeant Peter Rolfe, the members of the Morris Plains Police Department, the mayor, the council, and those citizens that they so proudly serve, for having achieved a unique fifth reaccreditation, putting them in one of the most elite groups of law enforcement in the state of New Jersey, and demonstrating their commitment to excellence in policing. So to all indeed, congratulations. This is where you get the coffee.
is yours.
Thanks.
Gonna get a photo, yeah.
We don't want to see that on video. It's invaluable.
All right, insurance? Sure. We'll send you a picture.
Also, yeah, I can, you know.
So I hand this to the mayor.
My wife rubbing off on me. Looking good, gentlemen, looking good. Welcome.
If I may, real quick, Harry alluded to it already, but there's over 400 proofs that go into satisfying accreditation, 112 different standards. I do thank our entire agency. It has become a culture. We've been, as I alluded to again, our 5th reaccreditation. It's 3-year cycles. It's really become a culture for the agency. The policies, practices that we follow. Mayor, Council, thank you all for your support. We couldn't do it without all of you. To my command staff, thank you very much for your support of the accreditation practice, but a lot of this credit goes to Sergeant Rolfe, who's standing here holding our lovely certificate, which will adorn the walls of Morris Plains. Pete devotes hundreds of hours to making sure that the proofs are followed, there's schedules to commit to, and this wouldn't be possible without Pete. So Pete, thank you very much for what you do for the agency and for the community of Morris Plains. Thank you very much.
Harry, thank you very much, and your team that came out and evaluated the police department here in Morris Plains, and looked under every desk and piece of paper and tried to find something. I know that you do that, so, but Pete and Mike and the rest of the team here this is a huge achievement. You all should be very proud of the dedication and work that was done. The residents should be very proud of this police department. I've been here now for all of these accreditations. So the first one, all the effort and work that has gone into it, the improvement of the police department, and that continues now through 15, 17 years, however long it's been. So it's a testament to not only this chief, but the past chiefs and all members of the police department, present and past. So the residents here are in very good hands. You hear nightmare stories all the time about police. Governments, their attorney generals taking over police and departments and all kinds of other stuff. And you have an outstanding police department here in Morris Plains. So again, thank you to everybody. Pete, thank you for your time and effort, and everybody else who helped you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we're going to take a breath and get started on the next cycle for 2028, right? And we just learned earlier this week that our joint insurance fund provider and J.A. Montgomery, who oversees law enforcement risk control, has selected the Morris Plains Police Department to, amongst a very small group of agencies in the state, to review our practices, our policies, to learn how we get to the point where we have limited liability, low workers' compensation claims, and property loss. So we're excited to bring J.A. Montgomery in the next couple weeks to interview our staff and help build the profession for the entire state. So we are quite the example of leading the way in law enforcement. So again, thank you very much, everyone.
Everybody?
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, Jim Myers, you're next from the chairman of the Centennial Committee. Top that, okay?
Hard one to beat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm going to sit, so stand up.
And I use all my notes here. So good evening, my name is Jim Myers. I'm on 25 Washington Avenue, for those of you who haven't met. I'm a lifelong resident of Morris Plains with family ties dating back to the 1840s. I was fortunate enough to go to school at Community Park, Borough School, Morristown High School, and after graduating from Providence College, I spent my career in tourism, hospitality, and events management. As I'm sure all of you know, this January marks the Centennial of Morris Plains. Although our community has been in existence for many generations, it was 100 years ago in January 1926 that a vote was made of separation was made at the Hanover Township Council meeting to create the new borough of Morris Plains. This officially went into effect at the April 15th meeting of the same year. 15 months ago, and based on my personal and professional background, Mayor Karr asked if I would chair a committee to oversee and plan town events to celebrate this historic anniversary. The committee members include Mayor Karr, Steve Welsh, former council member, Parade Committee, Rotary, and treasurer of this committee, Sal Cortese, council representative for Building and Grounds, Chief Mike Koroski, Kevin Rongo, Morris Plains Fire Department, Jerry Sitman, Recreation Department, Nancy Maribel, Morris Plains Museum President, Monica Crudell, Borough School Principal, Mark Mayer, Superintendent of Schools, Allison White, Downtown Morris Plains Committee, Joan Goddard, former council member, Carol Basel, lifelong resident, and Ann Gallagher, Marketing and Design. We also have advisory positions with Alex Lauren, former mayor, Frank Drusler, former mayor, Dan Myers, town historian, and Mary Claire Myers, Morris Plains Museum. Over the past 15 months, we have been working diligently to create memorable events to celebrate the historic year. Last fall, we held a town-wide contest asking residents to design a Centennial town logo incorporating the existing town seal. We received many wonderful, anonymous submissions from both children and adults. Ann Gallagher's design won the logo contest, which I have passed out to each of you. Based on Ann's marketing and design skills, we asked her to join the committee. She is working along with her subcommittee and in conjunction with Chief Koroski to come up with patches, merchandise commemorating the year. We've been busy planning the following events. This coming September 10th, we are holding a Fish and Chips fundraising dinner from 4:30 to 7 at the community center. The cost is $20 per meal for pre-orders and $25 per meal at the door. The meal comes with fish or chicken and french fries and coleslaw. You can choose to take out or dine in. It is also back to school night at school, so we figured this would be a great option for parents to pick up an early dinner before heading out to see the teachers. Steve Welsh is leading this charge on this. The committee is currently working with New Jersey Transit and a local artist to put up a town mural on the wall right next to the underpass as you enter town. So as you're entering town to the right, the wall on the right. The mall was designed by a combination of many of the themes from the logos that were submitted to in the contest, and will be painted by a local artist. There's more to follow on that as we negotiate with New Jersey Transit. We're working with Mark Mayer and Monica Crudell at Borough School to have the students come to the first Borough Council meeting of 2026 on January 15th to commemorate the vote separating from Hanover Township and the establishment of Borough of Morris Plains. On January 17th, we'll be holding a Morris Plains birthday party for families at Community Park at 11 a.m. with birthday cake, balloons, face painting, and more. The recreation will be leading this. They'll be looking for volunteers from the community. For the adults in town, 21 years and older, we'll celebrate with a Morris Plains cocktail party. This will be on February 21st at the VFW with a rain and snow date of February 28th. This will be a great evening of beer, wine, food, music, and fun with all of our neighbors. Carol Baza is leading the charge and will be taking on volunteers to help throw the party. Nancy Maribel, Dan and Mary Claire Myers, and the Morris Plains Museum Association were generous to donate a new time capsule to be planted next summer. The museum will work with the school district to come up with a list of items to include in the capsule. So they're going to be incorporating the students in this planning as well. We felt it was important throughout the year to bring the children, all different ages, in so they can really appreciate and understand the history of the community they live in. The committee would also like to dedicate the park at the corner of Court Road as Centennial Park. We met with Sal Cortese along with Nancy Critchley and Sue McCardle from Mars Plains Beautification to discuss new pathways, clearing of underbrush and weeds, and a designated area for the time capsule, a tree, and hardscaping. We would then like to hold a dedication ceremony at which time the time capsule will be planted. Centennial Park, the time capsule, and the mural will be lasting reminders of the special year. The Rotary has been kind enough to offer the signage for the new park. Again, we've been looking for additional volunteers for work on this. I would officially and respectfully request council to prepare a resolution for next meeting to rename Court Road Park as Centennial Park. In addition, we are working with Steve Welsh and the Parade Committee to incorporate the theme into next year's Memorial Day Parade, along with the country's 250th anniversary. The committee is working hand in hand with Jerry Sitman and Recreation for Family Day, Splash Party, the bonfire, and more. We are working with the school for announcements, student participation in the time capsule, and other events. And we are working with the Mars Plains Museum to have regular Did You Know section to give historical tidbits throughout the year on the school's website. Mars Plains Educational Foundation is planning to intertwine the Centennial into next year's 5K run. Other upcoming events that we are working on include but not limited to a block party headed by, a townwide block party, headed by Joan Goddard and Allison White, Art in the Park in conjunction with the summer concert series, a family parking spot decoration event at Community Park, and we'll be looking for volunteers to join us in all these events. This year's celebration will conclude at next year's town bonfire, where we hope to have some special surprises planned for that night. As you can see, we've been planning and organizing and looking forward to an exciting year to come. We hope that everyone follows us on the official Centennial Instagram page, which is at Mars Plains 100, on the town website, or on the school website for more news for upcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's going to be exciting. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the volunteers who have stepped up during this process, and obviously many more to come during this process. An exciting time really for the borough. So the wheels have gotten in motion, like you said. The 100 logo has been approved now. I know Mike has worked and gotten some uniform additions coming for next year, as well as the fire department, the road department, and those things as well. So, anybody from the council have any questions for Jimmy?
That sounds great. Well, it's a good deal.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, that's been,
Ann's committee is working on all, not only that, but also merchandise as well that we can put out to the town.
Excellent job. And just watching this thing grow across the street, and look forward to beautiful park there. And we'll be getting a lot of calls from volunteers that want to do things. I'm calling already. Wonderful. Has some money.
Great. We're looking forward to it.
All about money.
Perfect.
Donate money.
Even better.
Yeah, this all sounds really great. I'm really looking forward to everything. I love how you're integrating the kids into almost every activity. I think it's really fun.
Except the conference.
So we'll put that in test.
Yeah, those are the older kids babysitting, so we can all go to that.
It just sounds like a really fun year. I know I'm excited to be able to take part, and I definitely will volunteer when I can. I'm lucky because Steve gives some updates at Rotary, so I had a sneak peek at some of these things. And it really just sounds like a really fun year. I know you guys have been working really hard, and I think it's going to be really rewarding, not only for you to see everyone having a good time, but for the town to be able to enjoy such a fun activity that we can share and hold those memories.
And Steve has been working with the Rotary, so the signage will match the signage across the street. So it'll all kind of come together. Because on the opposite corner of the building, there's the signage as well that already exists.
for the 9/11.
Yeah.
And you mentioned like working with Beck on some of their events, and so you're gonna integrate some of the 100-year stuff into existing events that we already celebrate as a community?
Exactly, yes. So Jerry and the whole recreation committee are working with that as well. So we can pull it all together. Yeah, so it will be hopefully an ongoing theme throughout the year at all events.
I think the hope also is all the kids in all the sporting events and teams, everything, that logo also be on all their uniforms. So kids will set the pride wearing that as well as parents see it. But I'm excited, Jim. I think it's gonna be a fun year. Lots of activities throughout the whole year, so it's not just a one and done, and I think we're going to for a long time. So thank you for your efforts and your time and your stakeholders and everybody else on the meetings out here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any questions from anybody out there? Well, Jim is here. Mr. Wells.
I don't have any
We
questions.
have some things we can't discuss. Some
There'll
of
be
the
different
surprises.
surprises throughout the year.
I did want to point out, this is unusual, it's my second council meeting this year.
Wow.
The reorg meeting and this one, I'm gonna add to my 700 I've already attended.
And you brought, just like the old days, you brought chocolate.
I want to point out that I've handed out individual invitations to the mayor and council to come to the fish and chips dinner. And I want to do the same to all the members of the audience.
Is there a significance to fish and chips, like in our history, or is that just a fun thing?
Just a fun.
So we originally
Okay, good.
we were looking at doing, well, we were starting off with a fundraiser and also just to gain awareness because we are going to be putting out all of the dates at the fish and chip dinner. So when you pick it up, you'll be able to get an idea of what's to come.
That's the one.
So it's kind of an announcement of what's happening in the upcoming year. We had first looked at doing it the following week for halfway to St. Patrick's Day for the fish and chips. And, but we didn't want to conflict, there's another event happening that week at the VFW, so we wanted to be respectful of that, so we pulled it back one week.
I have a history question though.
Yes.
And maybe Nancy or you. Why did we split from Hanover Township? What was the reason for creating Mars Plains originally? What's the idea there?
Part of it, and Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong, part of it started with, it was actually voting districts. And that, and and then that was moved away. And historically, we've always been closer connected to Morris Township and Morristown than we were at Hanover Township. From the school systems from the mid-1800s, the original Morris Plains School was on Hanover Avenue. It was the Stone School, which is down beyond the firehouse, but on the other side of the avenue, outside of Morris Plains borders. And there was a private school, which still sits next to what's it called now? Tommy's Tavern. Thank you. I was about to call it the old name. And that was a private school. So very few of our residents actually went there. Most of our residents went to school at the Stone School. That school was then moved here because the fire department was uptown. And then when Mrs. Cutler, who was a direct descendant of Jonathan Roberts, she gave the land for Borough School. And that's when the school moved over there and the fire department moved here. And that's kind of like where things moved around. And that's really when we had two schools in town. The original borders of Morris Plains are actually from Route 10 up to Speedwell Lake. And those are the original borders. During that split, we lost the Fairchild section. We lost the Fairchild section, and that was due to a bit of a debate, and if you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy, that was a bit of a debate on who the first mayor was going to be. There was one person running from the Fairchild section, and then there was Mr. Merchant, the Merchant block.
We just got rid of them.
They actually seceded from us. Then he became the mayor, and then during this resolution, it's when Hanover Avenue became the board event.
Thanks for indulging.
That's impressive. That's
Appreciate
great.
it.
So, quick history lesson.
And just while we're on the topic of, you know, the 100th anniversary, finally, the Save the Cannon is up and out. So you may have been seeing flyers out, it's on the email alerts, on the website and whatnot. This cannon, and you can go on the QR code, it has a whole little bit of history about it, is the sister to the one that was refurbished in Morristown over by the Governor Morris. And the same person who restored that is going to restore this cannon. So he's asking for donations, it's going to be about $10,000 to refurbish this cannon back to about original condition. It's a passion of his, it does have real history and the cannons and how they used them, so this is something that also we want to get done for the 100th anniversary of Morristown. So you see that, so at least look at the history of why it's here, where it came from, and the significance of it. It's a pretty interesting story. So that's it. Anybody else? No? Moving on to conference session. Any updates? Bill?
We had to have a discussion about the resolution amending the regular meeting schedule. So we had discussed it briefly last time. I asked everyone to think about it and talk to people in the interim. I talked to some people in the interim, and people seem supportive of the idea of not having a lag between the conference session and the regular session, and not having a situation where the public has to be debating in the middle of arriving here some at 7:30 to see things like what we had today, the accreditation. If they, you know, if we had our executive session now, and this whole audience would actually, you know, kind of come back. So anyway, we discussed it, and I just wanted to see if there's any other comments or details about how this is gonna work that we wanna put on the table.
Anybody want to go first? So I do have some concerns with this, and one of them is there's no set schedule. So when you have conference, you know, that could go on for an hour, it could go on for 2 hours. The way that we have it set up now, you have a conference meeting that, you know, starts at 7:30, then our regular meeting starts at 8:30, and it does do some sort of a cutoff. So I would recommend something along those lines. If this does go forward. The other thing that I would suggest, if this is gonna go forward, is do this at the first of the year. The expense to change this and then advertise it for, I'll say, 5 meetings, and then have to do it again for the first of the year, seems to me to be a little bit, you know, something that at least can wait until the first of the year, do the resolution, set it, you know, for the first of the year. I know that we do have sometimes 2 executive sessions, and when we come out of an executive session, most of our business is taken care of at the first executive session. So if there is any business that comes out of that executive session, the public is here to hear that. But if you have the executive session at the end, the public does not necessarily know all of that business. We do have it on occasions, but not as often as you do when you have it at 7:30. Just going back to my first point, the public would have to be here at 7:30 because public business or voting could happen at 7:31, it could happen at 7:40, it could happen at 8:40, it could happen at 9:30. So just those are the points, is having some sort of set schedule, not just to run it into the next. And those are just some of my comments.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question. You mentioned the expense of notifying. Do you have an idea of approximate cost of what that would be?
Whatever it is to put it in the paper,
Okay.
but it's 5 meetings that will be done for the first of the year, if the council decides to do it that way. For 5 meetings, I don't think it's that much of a, I don't know what it would be, off the top of my head, but
Is it tens of dollars, is it thousands of
it's
dollars?
not thousands of dollars, it's
Maybe a couple
a
hundred.
couple $100.
$100?
Yeah. But,
Okay.
a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there is, we've incurred some of these extra costs, and a couple $100. For 5 meetings, it doesn't seem to make financial sense when everybody's trying to be fiscally responsible. Those are just my comments.
I think it's great, I mean, every time the public has to leave by you guys, I just go to, excuse me, Matt. I was talking to you. Right not to the public.
I appreciate it, Sal. Everybody else wants to hear your voice.
It always leaves them, so I think, I can speak for all council, like, when we ask you to leave and you come here to hear us, and to hear things, okay, you gotta go outside. If there's a way to keep that transition going and the closed session at the end, seems like has a nicer flow, and it's more respectful for you guys to come here and not have to leave and talk in the hallway. You know, you're probably saying those days threw us out or something, but I think it's more productive, more efficient, and more respectful to my opinion. As far as the delay, and I don't have a problem with whatever. I understand what your point about in January, you said a couple $100, but I mean that's only temporary. I don't know what the rest of the council does. Okay.
No, I agree with everything. I think having everybody go out there makes me feel awkward that everybody hearing everybody out in the hall and it gets hot out there is uncomfortable. And then the business that's done in executive, the benefit of having all these meetings videotaped is if you do have to leave, you can find out what exactly happened the next morning. So nothing's being done under the shadow of night.
Yeah, I mean, from the people that I spoke with, I think to the public or to the residents, it sounds like it makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit easier to understand, and the fact that, right, they don't have to leave. I think, Jason, you had said if something comes up where we would need a second executive session, that would essentially be announced, like, prior to the meeting?
No,
Or
we have it scheduled already now, where we have one early.
Right.
And if you have it,
If
you
needed
need
at
for
the
it, it's
end.
already there.
Right.
When you have it at the end, you don't need one at the end.
It would just repeat that. Okay, I just remember you saying something about
Yeah,
it
no,
needed.
you wouldn't need two, no.
A second executive, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in favor. I'm neutral in the sense of doing it right now versus the new year. I'd be willing to listen to what other people think about that, but I definitely think in the sense of the big picture, it makes sense to make the update.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Yeah, this is something that Nancy, I've been pushing for a while, so I appreciate you bringing this forward. I'm in favor of it, and I appreciate you doing the work on it. I also agree with the other council members here that a couple $100 to move the meeting forward in the interest of the public. I think it's a nominal cost. So yeah, I'm in support of it.
Just to throw a monkey wrench in, can we move the meeting up to 7
I know,
instead of
I did,
7:30?
so
I mean, just a thought,
part of
whether
this
it's
is that
next
people-
year.
People say it's too, starting the public meeting at 8:30, people have said is too late. For a lot of people who are working, those meetings can go long and they wanna be here for the part where we enact business. So that is another
Saying,
consideration if we start conference at 7 and, if it gives us a little more wiggle room to get it done a little earlier.
just a few times, young mothers come to the evening home, and it's probably nap time, bedtime.
But it depends on people's work schedules.
But instead of being 31 starts, you might start.
You still start a half an hour earlier.
Just a thought, but, if we could make it where, I like the idea. Whether it's better to a budget or not, or we start in the year, whatever makes sense, best sense. I think it should change that, to say that's the way it's always done it, doesn't look right.
The advantage of having them back to back is that if we don't have a lot for conference, which often we don't, we could be done with conference in 15 minutes, and we could just start the regular meeting so that there's not, that 45-minute lag where we're standing around waiting for 7:30 start, the second part of the meeting that was already published. So, it eliminates that lag. Now, if we need to take longer than an hour, I think, that we might just want to agree as a group. I don't know.
No, you won't be able to do that.
Won't be able to do what?
I think it has to be structured, but you can't just agree that, no, we'll only give that portion 50 minutes. Have a structured portion.
Well, what we
You can
do-
still have it structured, but have moved the executive to the end if you can structure it that way. But even that's difficult.
It is to predict the timing of the
Right.
conference, how long it's gonna be. But what we have done when we have interviews is we've started the conference earlier than the usual 7:30 start, so we'll publish a special meeting notice and pay for that. If we're doing police interviews, for example, I will say we're gonna start the conference session at 6:30, and we can publish that we're gonna do a special at the equity session, which I guess we do now, same thing.
That's
So,
what I was hoping.
so if we know there's a lot to cover, or we have somebody coming in to speak, we could always notice a longer conference, I'd say. But,
So if you have to have an executive early, the higher the better.
we notice that now, so we would do the same thing.
Hey, John, just from a legal perspective, do we know, is there anything that, are there any laws or anything that are precluding us from doing what's being suggested here?
No, our bigger challenge, it's an extensive challenge, is the notice requirements and substance of the notices and things like that. But we've already somewhat begun working on that, so it's, but to answer your question directly, no, there's not a prohibition or a problem with that. If you want to start at 7:30, that's fine. If you want to start at 7, that's fine. That's all, so.
Yeah, but to the point about rolling from the 7:30 conference right into, a regular meeting.
No, as long as you put your notice, and I'd have to play with the wording, but it would have to say that the conference session starts at 7:30, and at the conclusion of official business, we will enter into our regular.
Yeah, that can be done, it's just a matter of time. Instead of having it structured, like I said, like we have it now for an hour, right? We've got to remove that, conference could go. Who knows how.
But if it's worded that way, it can be as long or as short as you need.
Correct, I mean, it's here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that could go, like, we were supposed to have the Jersey Central tonight, right? So you had the 3 little presentations that would have gone longer instead of just saying, oh, Jersey Central, like 10 minutes or a half, right? So, and I got, big question.
Yes,
Just some other towns and their agendas and how they do it. There's, it's probably 50-50, and really depending on how many of their township government, but some of them do have some good ideas on their agendas that if the council wants to do it, I'd like to share with you and incorporate those into.
Share away, yeah, sure, share your ideas that you found.
Can we cap conference, like just to circle back, like are we able to say it's still just an hour, like Jason was saying, so that if it doesn't go 90 minutes as an example at a meeting, or?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys internally here could come to that agreement, like, we'll always stop conference meetings, or, do we need to? No, you don't. I have a little hesitation about doing that only for the notice.
I mean, I'm just curious, that's why I'm asking.
That might be difficult to do, publishing it and noticing it, but you guys could always agree that, hey, if we're getting caught up here and it's 8:30 or whatever.
Right,
7:30,
okay.
so
I'm
whatever
just
the
curious,
number is.
yeah, I'm just
I mean,
asking.
again, that's more, I don't say policy decision, that's more administrative.
Okay, perfect, yeah, just curious.
It's interested to hear what Jason's got to say.
Well, he's looking.
Of course, the other thing you could do, I don't have myself removed tonight for cause, but one of the things you could do is, you could always, one night a month, schedule that too as a session for just like a major conference session. Where you know, a lot of towns call it workshops and things like that.
Right.
You wouldn't take any official
I've heard
business
of that,
back,
yeah.
but you come there and that kind of, and then maybe in that night, you stick some of the, the JCP&Ls and things like that, so it's just a thought.
No, I like that.
Add to people's schedules, but that was something I was thinking.
We can do that when we have like interviews and things like that.
Special. Right, but these would be planned events, like in other words, it wouldn't just be, oh, let's do it, at your reorg meeting, you would announce it.
Separate meeting.
On
top of the two?
That's what he's saying.
Right.
The workshop.
So essentially be
So now you can't say, oh, there's only 2 meetings a month.
Sal, that's what you told me
I
last
got
time.
paid 2 days a month, I know about you guys. I'm not cheap.
Right.
The third one I have reservations, I go.
So if Paul is looking for his notes, how does everyone feel, about 7? Is that something that would cause difficulty for anyone? And I don't know about the public either, so that would have to be kind of.
It's not for me personally, but I'm likely more flexible than some other people with work.
Yeah, I mean, have you gotten public input on this, or is this the first time?
I've heard people say that 8:30 is too late.
Right, no, I agree with that, but I'm saying since we're trying to do the interest of the public. Say again?
I think if we're getting rid of the executive, we're trying to have a conversation on that.
Right. No, I was just curious on that. I mean, yeah, I think, to Mike, to your point, right, getting rid of executive in the middle, I think that already does a huge service to the public. So, I was just curious. But.
I know you like 7.
Well, if we pass this, we could also revisit it
Yes.
after a year and just say, hey, this is working. Let's get public input. Do we want to try 7 or keep it at
I
7:30
think
at
we'd
that
to
point?
approve it without more input.
From the residents, right, well, me too, because it's more about them than us, with that being said.
We approve all the meeting dates in January, I think, so.
Yep.
We have time to figure out what we want to do.
That's what I mean, if we do that.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I think the one that I have is in one here is, the meeting begins at 7:30 or immediately after the conclusion of it. They start off with an executive session, so,
Yeah, I've seen that.
that was one of the suggestions. The one I think was
And what
from,
did they say?
Ward.
For the one you just said, where we start with executive, do they have a specific time for the regular public meeting to start?
I can't tell by here, they don't have it on the time.
I got kind of down out of all this too.
Yeah. I marked it, but I can't remember why.
We could talk about one.
I mean, you have the other towns and
Like I said, I started going down, and I would find things like this, where they have executive first, but I couldn't find the notice that actually told you officially when does the regular meeting start,
Yeah.
so it was very confusing. It was like cross-checking back and forth.
I know we always try to pass the calculated time to that closed session. We know from experiences, we were there till like a morning.
If you start with executive session, you're gonna have the same issue.
Yeah.
If you start with conference, you have no idea. Some nights
You can't
executive session, you have nothing, other nights you may be here forever.
It doesn't,
I know a lot of towns, when I checked with colleagues and other towns, they often have a workshop session on a different night, and the conference is a brief discussion. If they have to do conference, it's very short, because the workshop is where they do most of this kind of thing.
those are really different form of governance too.
True.
That
Very true.
township committee,
That's very true.
these are,
Also what's referred to as farm.
yeah, but that's just.
Yeah.
It makes a much of a difference, though, it's still.
No, I mean, it doesn't
They're
include you
invited,
guys
huh?
as a borough form of government.
I mean, you say the majority of people, but I don't know if it's a majority.
Generally, the towns that do workshops are large towns. Mount Olive, Parsippany, towns that are geographically big, well populated. But again, it doesn't include you guys for doing it.
If we're gonna revisit it or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, we'll talk. But it sounds like the council wants to move forward and isn't really in favor of having a different start time for a conference and regular. So that it gives you the flexibility to move from one to the other without a gap, if there is a gap. It would eliminate that gap, and it would eliminate having to have the public meeting. As far as action happening, there is occasion, I think, where we do take action after an early executive session in the regular meeting.
A lot of it goes back on the consent calendar, or maybe something off the consent calendar. That's not gonna take place now because the consent calendars are already ready.
Right, because the executive would happen after that. We do come out of executive late at night sometimes and enact business, which is published in the minutes. But people are typically not here at 11:30, they normally come fleet sessions. So that would be the same as it is now.
Yeah, but that only happens once in a while. Most of our business, most of the time happens right after, at the 8:30 portion of that meeting. After our first executive session.
So it wouldn't really preclude us from enacting the business, it just would happen in the empty room mostly. And if we're officially recording, which hopefully we will be, by the time we enact this resolution,
It
then.
doesn't matter really when you're in the executive session, if you're gonna tape it, then people can watch it whenever.
And we'll come out, it'll be 11:30 at night, we'll pass, people can watch that the next morning without a delay.
Or you leave the meeting the way that it is, and people can watch that the next morning as well.
Okay, so, yeah.
What, if they're not here at 11:30, they don't have to be here for the 8:30.
No, but I think the point is that right now, having a break in between the two, I think is a disservice to the public. So I think by going from the conference session, whatever time, right into the regular council meeting, and then doing executive after, I think that's a big service to Sal, to the point you made in the beginning, it's a big service to the public.
They want to be here for the public invitation.
I mean, they're excluded from executive anyway, so, it doesn't matter when we do that, as long as it's not between the two sessions.
And you can see the face of the public, who wants to be thrown out and come back in, right? You know?
They can have cookies and candy.
No, they want to hear the stuff and go home to their family.
Whatever, you just gotta talk about
Hey.
it, so whatever it is.
So I'll hear from the mayor, share
I
his
will give you-
feedback,
yeah.
and, hopefully at the next meeting, we can enact something that we can decide. I think also, do we want this to take effect immediately? Do we want to wait to change it?
My suggestion is in January, just because it'll give everybody time to get everything. If you want to change other things, put some sentences in here.
No, I think the resolution should be passed sooner. The question is, do we want the date to be effective September 18th, or do we want the date to be effective January 1st?
Yeah, I know, Tyler already said that we have a few months to iron out some things, or say, hey, this is not working. Let's not do it in January, I don't think it's
Try it for 3 months, see if we need to make any tweaks. If it's not working, we can go back to the old arrangement.
Do it fairly.
No, I mean, I just feel like we can amend it if something isn't working, we can potentially, like the time, like if we start at 7:30, if people want earlier, we can change that. One change at a time.
Thanks for everybody's thoughtful input.
For your work.
We'll keep talking.
Yeah, thanks for your hard work and your research.
Anything else?
No.
And nobody else? So I do have a few other updates as well. If people have noticed, maybe you haven't, there's a new flagpole up at Simon's Park by the snack stand. And that is courtesy of Mr. Joe Forgione, who owned the property over by the H2O restaurant in Hanover, that is now demolished.
It's gone.
And so I called him up and asked him if we could have the flagpole, and he had the contractor take the flagpole out. DPW went and picked it up, refurbished it, and put it in over at the soccer field in time for soccer opening day. So it has a beautiful American flag and the community caring flag over there. I think that's a nice addition to that park. One of the ones that didn't have a
Centennial.
That's great.
He was also the developer in that.
Yeah, well, he sold that part. I have, an update on Honeywell. So I did get a notice from, Honeywell, that they are changing names up at the, building on Route 53. And it's gonna be Solstice, Advanced Materials, a spin-off of Honeywell. I don't know if people follow, but Honeywell's split into 3 different groups. And this is one of their spin-offs. And, it was still, you may see a name change here sooner. We'll still have the same amount of people, actually, the same people who are there now will continue to be there, so it's really just a name change. But it's still gonna be occupied by the same people, the same amount of people. I think there's about 900 in there now, with the capability of up to 25. Not all at once, that's coming around, so if anybody sees that change, you know why. We have put in benches over at, not put in, we have put in the budget for benches over at Watnong Park. I have Johnny Cigarelli, looking for benches. We were, gonna put them around the pickleball court, and eventually the tennis ball is over there, so those will be coming as well. And that's all I have. Sounds like something.
As far as the, I have some estimates for the, landscaping for, the old Idlewild Pool. As you guys know, the Forest Springs acquired that property from the association. They acquired that property from an association that, was pretty much, they were abandoning, they didn't have that many people left, it was abused. And, now you have a piece of property that had a hole in it, pretty much still a hole in it, pool. It's in bad shape. So, the mayor received, 2 estimates for a landscape architect to, do something there, and of course, the council's gonna have a decision as to what they want.
Just let me explain.
Go ahead. I passed out to my committee tonight, and, Tyler, I think they felt as long as we control what goes on here.
So, I sent out RFPs to about, 6 landscape architects. We just got them back, I gave them the Sal, to look over. We only received 2 back. One is about 30,000, and the other is about, I think, 17 or 19,000. To submit to the Borough Council, 3 different ideas for the use of that property in that park. They're incorporating the natural spring that's there, not incorporating it, just giving ideas of what the council can budget for forward for that piece of property. So, this was in last year's capital ordinance, so it's nothing, none of the expenses were really incurred this year. So it's something that we've been wanting to do since we know that the pool is not financially feasible to get up and running. With all the requirements now from the state, the municipality owns it rather than a private owner. So, if the council's okay moving forward with this, I'd like to hire the 1 person for the RFP for the design of that park with input from the people and residents in that area. So, I think it's hourly rates and whatnot, engineers and stuff like that. So, if that's something the council is desirous of moving forward with, I think it'd be a good idea.
What was the cost to renovate that pool or bring it up to current standards?
We didn't have a line item cost. We got a rough estimate from our engineer at the time for about $3 million.
3 million? Just to, okay. And with these proposals, are there presentations that go along with them so we can see what they look like?
We can do however we want. We'll submit whatever, and then if the council decides on one or whatever, then we'll come and do a presentation. But,
Okay.
he'll present to the council first.
Right.
You know, present to the council. It delivers in 3D, comes out. They've looked at the property once already, but they do come out and inspect everything.
I don't know about the rest of the council, but
I always get those calls. You guys bought that property to do low-income housing. No, we didn't.
this is gonna alleviate a lot of headaches for the local residents. It's a park.
So how would it work with, creating input for this landscape architect to come up with plans? Like would there be like a subcommittee that would provide, you know?
So I think it would be important for the residents in that area, at least, to be part of that, because that's theirs up there, right? And so that's where the public input there would bring. I've seen some of those guys working, it's really, I want something different than just a swing set and slide up there, right? So, this guy has those different kind of a nice quiet park up there.
So I guess what I'm saying is, would you give us some general ideas first and then build a plan once we kind of, like a direction that he's gonna go in?
It's in his scope of work.
Okay.
We can do
Okay, I'll
that.
take a look. Thank you.
Anything can be done. But I'd like to get that up and going, so we have some sort of an idea where we're going next year, next couple of years, budget, or something.
When he does come.
That's a
to
real-
Congress, maybe we can invite the people that would.
Yeah, I'll have a meeting with them.
Meeting, you know?
Individually, those people up there.
They'll be happy to hear that, yeah.
But, you know, that place really is, they keep up with it the best that they can, but it's certainly an higher store up there that didn't really intend to have. Yeah, it's a little bit of a.
I would think we should do it a similar way that we've done with the police department, right? We've got a couple different bids, we looked at 3 different designs, right? And then, public presentation on those, right? So I would think it would be a similar,
We'll see,
fashion.
possible.
I mean, it's a public park, right? So, that makes sense.
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing else? Is there a motion?
I'm happy that Centennial Park, this eyesore here, doing something to ameliorate it, and make it, not just, coated off with the fence or whatever, now the public can go in there, it's part of the cross the street, it's a nice addition in there, to make my things very back.
Is there a motion to close the conference session? So moved. Second?
Second.
Second by Nancy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it, we have a couple minutes left before we start.
Now, if we were going the other way, then just go right into the other meeting, right? If it was already.
You could.
He knows you weren't here against us before.
I know.
You don't need it?
See?
Oh, it's just before. You're aware of it.
Yeah.
Pass it on, pass it on.
63%.
I don't want you to feel left out, though. We talked about this earlier. What happened to the ships. All right, okay.
But that's not even. Maybe.
That would be a message out to residents, homeowners, to get 24 hours notice to the residents before they pay. Watch the weather, right? Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, we got to the conversation before the school started.
If you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer, please, and if you please remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we ask you to bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that in fulfilling their public trust, every deliberation will result in actions that will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Morris Plains. Just remain standing for a moment of silence for Carole Howell, who's our secretary for the Board of Health for over 40 years, and she's no longer with us after a courageous fight. Thank you. Notice to members of the governing body and borough staff. Any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall solely be used for the purpose of borough business. Approval of minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the conference executive and regular meeting on July 17, 2025 be approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Approval of consent agenda. Sports, Borough Clerk, July 2025. Animal licensing, July 2025. Sanitarian, July 2025. Building inspector, July 2025. Tax collector, June and July 2025. Treasurer, June and July 2025. Resolution 2025-102 entitled, a resolution authorizing the 2025-2026 controlled beer culling program. Resolution 2025-103 entitled, a resolution authorizing a shared services agreement with the Morris Plains School District for a Class 3 Special Law Enforcement Officer Services. Resolution 2025-104 entitled, resolution authorizing a shared services agreement with the Morris Plains School District for supplemental crossing guard services. Resolution 2025-105 entitled, refund of overpayment. Resolution 2025-106 entitled, resolution rejecting bids to construct a tennis wall in the borough of Morris Plains. Resolution 2025-107 entitled, resolution recognizing the value of a complete and green streets policy and a commitment to adopt a borough-specific policy. The residents of Corson Way, Mountain Way, Tower Hill Road, Holiday Drive, and Stony Brook Drive be granted permission to hold a block party at the Corson Way cul-de-sac on Saturday, September 13, 2025, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., and that further permission to serve alcoholic beverages be granted, and that the road department provide free barricades at the corner of Corson Way and Mountain Way. The residents of Dogwood Road be granted permission to hold a block party on Saturday, September 20th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., where the permission to serve alcoholic beverages be granted. The DPW provide the necessary barricades. Joe and Tina Sakala be granted permission to serve alcoholic beverages at a birthday party to be held Sunday, September 14, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Community Park Pavilion. Morris Plains seniors be granted permission to park approximately 13 to 14 cars at Community Park Pool parking lot on Sunday, September 14, 2025. From 8:30 a.m. through Wednesday, September 17, 8:30 p.m., while on bus trip to Vermont. That the employment termination of Tracy Ferrulo, tax office, is hereby ratified, retroactive to June 19, 2025. The Knights of Columbus Council 3495 be granted permission to serve alcoholic beverages at their annual family picnic to be held Tuesday, August 26, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Community Park Pavilion. Robert Del Frio be granted permission to hold a block party on the Glenbrook Road extension from the intersection at Homer to Central on Saturday, September 20th, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, September 21st, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Further permission to serve alcoholic beverages be granted. The DPW provide necessary barricades. that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign and execute the developer's agreement for 1625 Route 10 as required by Planning Board Resolution number 25-07 and approved by the Borough Attorney. The Borough Treasurer be authorized to advertise for the receipt of bids for the installation of light poles and wiring on the path from Marsh Plains train station to the venue at American Road within the Borough of Marsh Plains. Contract 2025.E in the August 28th, 2025 edition of the official Borough newspaper, with bids to be received on September 17th, 2025, at 10:30 a.m. Council Chambers, Borough Hall. Francesca Frankie Becky be hired as Assistant Tax Collector at the annual salary of $43,000, effective August 25th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nancy, roll call, please.
Mr. Cortese.
Yes.
Mr. Bruhn.
Yes.
Mr. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Ivey.
Yes.
Mr. Pontier.
Yes.
Ms. Verga.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to open up the members of the public wishing to comment. Please stand up and come forward and state your name and address. In the conference. Great.
Bill LaChance, 13 Hidden Way. I just had one comment. I came from Chatham Borough has a big structure, almost exactly like the way you're suggesting. And so if you wanted somebody to reach out to, I'm kind of the mayor, you get contact, but they start at 7:30, and then at the very end, they have the executive session. You want to see how it works?
You may have your conference, your workshop on a separate.
I don't think that's done. I have it here.
Oh, they have it.
I have it.
I think they changed it now, it can be executive first.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'll verify.
Anyway, so it's just a.
They are one of the ones with, I have it here.
Thanks, Bill.
They are.
Are you Bill's neighbor?
Yes.
We are.
Bill next to Bill.
Bill.
Too many.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Bill Greco, 9 Higby Way, John, good to see you. Thank you for the addition in the council reading of the lighting from the venue at the American to the train station. Much appreciated by all of the neighbors. The residents of the venue want to hold a classic car, coffee and cars, limited to the residents of the venue, which will be on Eisenhower Way. Some cars may spill over onto American Road. My question is, do they need a permit for this?
Well, it's on our road. Those roads there are public roads, so if we're doing it on the roadway.
So what would be the process?
Just something, I think it's just something on the, like we do with the block parties.
Right.
Just something on the calendar here, and then let the police know, maybe tell them.
How do I go about that?
You can talk.
Just let Mike know? Okay, thank you. And my last,
Yeah, we'll just do it on the consent.
pardon?
Yeah, we'll put it on our consent.
Okay, thank you so much. And my last thing is for Bill, the Uncle G parking lot, again, making that left from 202. The tall grasses, they need to go, because it's a hazard, because you can't see traffic entering the roadway going into Uncle Giuseppe. I would think the management company would be able to plant some low type bushes as opposed to high grass.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they,
Thank you, Bill.
they drew them back last time. Didn't they take them back?
No, they cut them down, but they grow. Thank you. Thank you all for what you do. Greatly appreciated.
Sorry.
Yes.
Your cars and coffee, when would you like to do that?
September 28th. It's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
So that's after our next meeting, right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure it was after the next meeting.
Yeah. So we're good?
Yes.
Nancy, congratulations on your daughter.
Yeah, the chief will get us the right information.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, Majority Bill.
My name is John Beck, from the venue also, on Signorelli.
Oh, Sunday. Good to see you, John.
Hey, how are you? I have a couple of questions for you.
we're running into some problems with people parking in the parking spots and going to the train station. So you guys own the road, but we own the parking spots there. So I was wondering if there's some kind of resolution we can put in for an ordinance that's residential parking only in our neighborhood.
Not in the private, not in the private spots. I believe that's all venue, that's correct. So we have nothing to do, it's only the association that has to do, we only do the roadways, that's it.
Right, so there's nothing to protect us, and there are no signage or anything that we can go
You can
about.
put up your own signage, and then you hire a towing company, and you
Is
just.
that Article 39 or something like that through the code for the town?
There's an abandonment of motor vehicle on private property statute in the motor vehicle clauses of the state, so what you would do is essentially just call us. We would have whatever witness from the property sign summons, the hard copy of the summons, the officer would issue, and then you can call your own tow company at that time.
So we
It
just
has to have
follow down as
signage, there's
opposed
a
to
proper
just
way to
like-
do it, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, under that statute, I think the property owner is reimbursed.
Yes, there's a reimbursement clause for
Has to reimburse the property owner.
the tow fee.
Right, or the towing company collects directly, right? from whatever-
John, we have experience with it from other properties in town that are quasi-private, so if you want to reach out, we'll get you set up.
Okay,
Something for you, at least for legal counsel, because that,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
We've had snow plowing issues last year with the piling and snow and stuff like that, and there were some conversations about possibly, instead of having a stand-up curve to make it easier for the town, to knock it down on an angle so the loaders and the trucks can push it further into wooded areas. We set up a meeting with maybe John Cigarelli, yourself, and then.
Yeah, so that's, so we go curb to curb. So we're really not supposed to be taking that snow and moving it past the curb line.
But the problem is your curb ends at the driveway lines. So if you don't push it past the curb, you can't get into the driveways. And you're also taking out parking spots. So if you remember, the dead end right there, there's driveways right there. I mean, the guy can't get around into his driveway if there's an issue with that. So,
So do you have a company that does your driveway, snow clearing and all that in the association?
yes, we
So
do.
you probably would have to add that onto their contract to clear the snow.
It's just your town roads though.
I understand that, just like every other private road, when the plow goes by, blocking the driveway, you have to show all that. If that's what you're talking
That's a
about.
plow, that's an overflow. You're piling snow at the end.
When you have cul-de-sacs, you have to push it somewhere.
Well, that's what it said. I mean, last year, you guys did a pretty good job of pushing it up and over, but at one point in time, they had to bring in machinery to move it because it was just blocking too many driveways.
Yeah, but like Bill says, I mean, that responsibility is on somebody else. It's not the road responsibility. I know John does everything that he possibly can.
John's a good guy working. Like you said, your whole department down there.
They truly make an effort, just like the people that we have on cul-de-sacs that get some extra snow just because of the condition of their driveway and whatnot. We'll take a look at it, and there's absolutely no guarantee that we're gonna do anything. And again, most of that, we're curb to curb, so anything beyond that is gonna be your responsibility, even moving that snow. Probably, we'll take it over.
Yeah, just let us know.
Did we take the post out and all that over there?
One post was taken out, and then on both sides of the two ends that we had there. So that worked out where they were able to push back the overflow.
I'll look at it with John, but maybe they could push it the other way, a section of it, and get it out, maybe you only have a little bit. We'll see. Take another one.
Appreciate it.
Actually, John knows how to get in touch with you, I'll have John get in touch with you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We have a lot of residents complaining about the amount of parking on American Way now. It seems like there's more cars in the apartment building in the street than there is under the parking garage or in the driveway there. It's actually, well, we have a couple places that have been up for sale, and a lot of the realtors say that could be a deterrent because of the amount of cars that are parked there. It literally fills up from the first building there, which I think is the school for training or whatever, and then it goes all the way up into the cul-de-sac on the weekends, all the way around. And we are getting some overflow of that into our areas of parking.
So I think one of the reasons for that is they charge for parking over at the rental site.
Yeah.
People are trying to avoid parking, or paying for the parking over there. The chief and I did discuss this way at the beginning of that development, something that will have to be revisited. I think we blocked off for the driveway entrances originally, right, 50 feet or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
park right there, right to the
I
inside.
think, but we can revisit it, and see if we can do something over there. One side of the road is ours, the other side is
It's
ours.
Hanover Township, right, the right side. So it's something that we have to bring up to the Hanover Township.
If it's on that side.
Yeah, so it's both sides of the street without doubt. One last thing we have for you is, as you know, we're going through transition over there with Lennar. One of the things that came up again was the trees. And I know we had talked about this in the past, and I think somebody said that the bond ends in February for Lennar and the trees and, you know, replacing the dead trees. I have two questions, right? In February, how do we declare what trees are dead? Because everything's, no leaves and stuff. And then secondary is, can we hold it further than that to see if the trees come back to life?
So, Bill will answer that question, but they'll have a list of all the dead trees that whatever they require at the end of the month, but he'll explain.
Well, at the end of the bond period, we make a final inspection and see what deficiencies there are, or dead trees or whatever. And
So bond ends in February, right? You're gonna do it the fall, or you're gonna do it?
we'll have to take that into account, sure.
Yeah, because obviously you can walk around, everything's gonna look dead at that point. But believe me, I'd love to have all the trees replaced, it'd save me a lot of
If
phone
you know
calls.
where any dead ones now, we'll flag them or something. Okay, we'll do our best.
The problem is we do, landscapers will take them out. So that's the way it works, but,
Okay,
all right.
we'll do our best.
Maybe if you take some pictures,
Oh, we can take plenty of pictures. You want me to send it to you or Bill?
send them to Bill.
Okay. All right, thank you. We appreciate what you guys did for us.
Thanks, see you again, John.
Excuse me, I got a question for the chief. Chief, if they put these signs up and your patrol car goes there, there's an illegally parked car, you just issue a warning or a summons?
It'd be up to the property owner at that time. They would want to issue summons, or we can leave a warning for a first-time offense if that's their choice, but they wanted it enforced, the statute calls for us to enforce it.
But you will still need one person authorized by association to sign
Correct.
the summons, one person, so probably gonna be you.
They'll say they don't want to do it.
See, it's great being at the top, huh, John?
So you have to get your stuff together with that person
Yeah, I'll get-
is registered with the police. This way it can be enforced in court, otherwise.
Yeah, I'll get it. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Name and address, please, yes.
I'm Maria Romano,
Yeah.
and I'm at 8 Charlton Liberty Venue. And my husband has been complaining for a very long time. He put the flashing light up and sort of slow people down. I know that he finds it very difficult, and other people have complained. And I was wondering if we could ever just get a regular light there.
I don't think that the county,
Red, blue,
I don't
stop.
think the county is ever gonna put a regular light there. They looked at it, I think they did 5 studies, different scenarios over there when they did the flashing light.
Yeah.
I asked them to revisit it, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe it was your husband, I don't remember who called me. No, it was a woman who called me, because she can't move over to get over to.
A lot of
Martin
people
Luther King.
find, it's a blind spot and it can be
Yeah.
potentially dangerous, so they went through all the expense of putting the flashing light. Why couldn't they just put a stop?
I think if they could have done the regular signal there, they would have done it at that time.
They couldn't, or,
Their engineers determined that would not be the best thing to do there.
The issue becomes there is the curvature of the roadway and the slope of the grade of the hill, so let's say our closest speed limit there is 30 miles an hour. When you're coming down the hill, if you get a red signal, the view obstruction for vehicles continuing eastbound are gonna be slamming on brakes or ending in rear-end collisions when traffic backs up, the volume of traffic there. It's not feasible to have a red signal there, because people will be stopped, and people coming, people doing speed limit there are not doing 30 miles an hour, they're doing 50 plus.
right,
You're gonna end up with serious collisions there.
okay,
So that's the reason why they can't have a solid red light there.
okay. That's right, thank you.
All you can do is try.
Right.
Thank you.
Sorry, just to follow up on that lady, that young lady, is it possible to have the speed sign, the blinking sign, as you're coming down Hanover Avenue? You know.
Bill, you're stealing my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
No, we have, I'll say it now, I'll save you some time for my report later. We have a variable message board now that the council approved for our capital funding. It has speed alert to it, a variable message board, so we can try and slow people down coming through that, and the island's a perfect spot to do that. It has a radar segment on it, so when people are going over the posted speed limit, and we offer that to anybody in the community. If you want to email us, our traffic sergeant will come out and put the signboard out anywhere you need. We'll try and slow down traffic throughout the neighborhoods and along that corridor.
But people have to understand too, Bill, that's up that's Morris Township on that
I
side
know,
of the
yeah.
street. Okay, that's not even Morris
I
Plains over
understand,
there.
yeah.
So the sign's not gonna go over there on that side of the street, okay, where that construction is. It's not
Understood.
talking
It
about
would have to
anything
be
there
on the
on
island.
the other
It'll be on the
side.
island.
It would have to be on
Any
the
of that
island.
enforcement is gonna be Morris Township, so, that's, that's their jurisdiction there, so our
Okay.
guys don't go on that side.
Okay.
And that light there is county.
Right, I did not believe
It's
it.
county in Morris Township, so.
As you know, 2 years ago, we started the process
Yeah.
with the county.
Yeah.
And they said the same thing
You
that
know.
Michael said.
Yeah.
The problem was the curvature of the road and
Right.
so on and so forth. So we were happy to at least get the blinking light for a start, so,
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna go any further.
okay. Thank you.
Bill, it is the Morris Township side, the Morris Plains side is good.
Morris
Yeah, we
Plains
took care of you,
side.
Bill.
We even have flowers on the Morris Plains side.
Those are the best
And I
looking
water
flowers.
3 days a week, by the way.
And I want you to notice too, that island is always clean.
I know.
No weeds,
Thank
and that
you.
sidewalk is always clean. Look
Thank
at
you.
Morris Township.
Thank you.
I did notice those.
With the high grass too, Bill.
No, that's what
That
Bill's,
high grass
that's
is
Bill.
over 6 feet high
Thank you.
on Morris Township.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else? So you know, when I move on to reports of committees and department heads, finance, Ms. Verga.
Thank you, Mayor. Our clerk held a safety meeting, actually it's our deputy clerk, so clerk is out that day, on July 24th with department heads or their representatives from Public Works, Finance, Police, Fire, who provided updates on a variety of safety trainings, borough building inspections, repair, service and registration of vehicles, workers' comp claims, and safety preparations for camp, pool, and September start of school. That's a required meeting by our insurance company, our liability coverage. The clerk's office has also been working on marriage applications and licenses, death certificates, food vendor licenses. Total revenue in July was $3,768 for those types of pieces of information. They updated all of our insurance information for our fleet and other assets for our liability insurance carrier. And they were making reservations for the upcoming New Jersey League of Municipalities Conference in Atlantic City that the governing body and some other members of our boards and committees are invited to attend each year. They're preparing for the 9/11 Memorial Service and the block party, and also have been interviewing candidates for the deputy clerk position. For the website, I met with our webmaster, Melissa Gibson, to talk about any improvements to the website based on feedback that she's gotten from users and me and other people. And some of the things we discussed were that there is a situation when a meeting is canceled or a meeting location is changed. What happens is the legal notice goes on the agendas and minutes page of the website, which is kind of buried a couple clicks deep on the website, so the public doesn't automatically get that notice. So what's needed is for Melissa to be notified, our webmaster, so that she can put it on the front page of our website. If there's time, she can send it out in a Friday email, or she can put it on the borough calendar on the website front page, so that if you look at the meeting, it'll say cancel, it'll say Board of Adjustment meeting Monday, July 15th, cancel. So we just have to work on our communication with our departments and make sure that Melissa gets notification so we can better notify the public. So we're going to be working on that. We also got feedback from people that they want to see more information posted on borough social media, Facebook specifically. And just so to help people understand, we do not have comments turned on our Facebook page for a couple of reasons. One is that we don't have a full-time social media or comms person who could be monitoring and responding to those comments in a timely fashion, which would leave people hanging. You know, if they had a comment or a question, we prefer that they call the borough clerk's office to get that information directly. So when comments are turned off, the algorithm in Facebook doesn't show posts on many people's feeds. So when you have comments, it makes more people, it makes the algorithm go up and more people will see the post. So when she does post on Facebook, a lot of people aren't seeing it in their feeds. This is just a one-off. So that's some of the reasons why we're not seeing that, but we're discussing some options to address this. So more to come on that. She's also working on some glitches in the system that we use for rec summer programs to register people for camps. There were a couple of glitches that she's trying to work on and prevent from happening again. She also provided some analytics on the online forums that she has been creating over the past couple of years under her development company, which is a separate contract she has with the borough. One of them that is notable is we automated the background check process for our volunteers and our staff members and elected officials. So that online form has been used 254 times by employees and volunteers. And we have a vendor form which is separate for background checks, and that's been used 49 times for vendors for our town events, for the farmers market and other town events, to make sure that our kids who attend these are safe. So that's been a really excellent investment for the borough to improve that process. I think it's working better for the clerks, for the police. Everyone kind of knows where we are with that, so that when someone calls and says, how am I ready for background check? I have this teen center event coming up. We can answer the question much more easily than we could before. We also have an online form for residential fire inspections that was only implemented this past year, and that's been used 195 times since it was implemented. And the volunteer form we have online has been used 40 times, and garage sale permit online form 37 times. So these are getting some uptick, and hopefully we can start expanding some of those online forms for other applications. Our Plains Talk August issue is out. Great job by our editor, Michelle Diamond. I also want to skip over finance. I want to give special thanks to our CFO, Anna Thomas, who has been working 2 jobs because we have the vacancy in the assistant to the tax collector position, which we've also been conducting interviews while having the vacancy for. So she's super busy, and it's also collection season for the 3rd quarter. So she's been really busy working at this window and also doing all the jobs to make sure that we're on track. For example, she did our cash reconciliation reports for June and July, our tax collector's report of receipts. As of Wednesday, yesterday, we've collected 90% of our 3rd quarter taxes for the borough. Morris Plains residents pay on time. Thank you very much. Keeps us solvent and keeps us moving. So yes, interviewing candidates for that job to fill the position. I think that's all.
So just 2 things I have to piggyback here. If you have an update with the HIP, did you see that email with the HIP?
The email that came today, I honestly didn't have time to read it.
We're looking into possibly changing our healthcare from state to a HIP, health insurance fund. So we did get an email back today, less than the state increase of 36%.
Yes, I did see it, I feel right, so.
Okay, so maybe more to come for that.
It's still staggering.
Still staggering, but you know what, we'll take it. And then I also was at a mayor's meeting, and I have to get you the information about, well, I didn't get it to you, but I forgot to mention it earlier. So the credit card fees are now 3%, so the company is now less than that.
That municipal?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I'll give you that information. Save the taxpayers more money.
Yes.
Especially when you're paying
3%
tax
is,
online,
that 3% versus 2%.
Yeah, that's, I get complaints about the 3%, you know, sometimes people have a hard time paying, and then they have to put on a credit card. 3% charge, and you get charged interest, so let's try to, back that down.
Sounds good.
Public safety, Tyler.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll do my best here. I know I meet with Chief Koroski once a week, so if I miss anything, he can make sure that we have that there. I know at the last meeting, we approved the hiring resolution for a new police officer. Applications are coming in. The application submissions will stop on August 31st, and then they'll really be able to look through them and start some of the interview process if there is a couple good applicants. On August 17th, Chief Koroski was interviewed by News, was it 10 or 12?
News 12.
News 12 about a couple things going on in town, the flags you used to cross the street, etc. Chief's basically famous. I'm proud to say he's my friend now. A couple of recent activities on the public safety front. National Night Out, huge success. I was there, it was a really awesome time, great to just see all the first responders and public safety. We had the police had the new police motorcycle was there. I saw tons of kids taking photos on it. I may or may not have taken one on it myself. Just a really great time, really, I just love seeing the interaction with the residents and the children and the first responders. It's just, again, really rewarding to see. I think also just did Kona with a cop. They did that at 3 different locations throughout the town. I believe Nancy was at one of them. I was at the one at the pool. Similar, just really fun seeing all the kids coming up, getting ice cream, talking to the police officers. I really feel like, kind of echoing what the mayor was saying before, we really do have something special in this town with our first responders, and just seeing how comfortable residents, children are to come up to them, speak with them, ask them questions. And I remember at National Night Out, one of the officers said, you know, this is just so great because I feel like a lot of times people don't know what to say to us. And, you know, he's like, they could just come say hi. And I was like, never really thought about it like that. So again, just really great to see. I know we had a couple issues with one of the hybrid cars, but I do believe most of those have been worked out. The referendum that is going to go on the November ballot was due August 8th to the county clerk. I know Chief Koroski and the council worked very hard on that. I won't beat this to death, as I've mentioned it a lot, but that is going to be for the approval or not of the funds for the renovation of the current building here, or possibly building a new location over near the teen center. Chief K is going to be holding 2 public info sessions, again, one in September, one in October. This is the chance for residents to ask questions, express concerns, and just really be able to see some of the modern schemes that we've been looking at. CERT is in full motion now. We have 7 active volunteers, I believe, and they had their first OEM training last night with Chief Koroski and Lieutenant Field. So I think at future events, that's going to be really great to have some of those volunteers. Something big coming up, the PBA contract is up at the end of this year, so that's going to be something I'm going to be working on with them and negotiating starting this fall. The courts met this week, this past Tuesday. I was speaking with the administrator before, and they said they had a pretty big case from Rockaway that took most of the afternoon. Again, they meet once a month here in person. The rest of the court is done either via Zoom or virtual. Fire prevention. Chris did send me his June report. We should have the July report very shortly, but he did a total of 110 inspections in June, and to date, he has generated about $54,000 in revenue for the borough through the inspections. And we will be meeting, public safety will be meeting with Chris shortly just to go over. He had his full-time position's been for 1 year, so just to really go over the things that he's been doing, what's working, and how we can just improve the position and keep it moving forward. The fire department is at a record number of calls this year. I think they're at 300. They did a training drill at National Night Out where they cut a car open. I actually did watch most of it. It was really cool to see. And now with the demolition going on over at the Friendly/McDonald's location, they obviously are not doing any more training over there. And I admit it was pointed out, I did misspeak about the 50-50 and the prize that is given out. So I think I initially said that the winner would get $10,000. That is not true. You can blame me for that. But they will get 25% of that, so the winner will get $2,500. So in my difference. What's that?
You owe the difference.
You know, I'll have to sell a couple houses, but we'll make it work. We'll see what happens. But I did want to correct that. I did misspeak. That was my fault, and it was pointed out to me. So $2,500 does go to the winner. I think they were at 17,000 tickets out of the 20,000 last. 25% of the 50. Yes. Correct. Yes. So
there's going to be a winner.
Multiple winners here, yes, I just wanted to clarify that. I think that's pretty much it, and then just wanted to point out, we did have the Complete in Green Streets resolution approved tonight, so I'm really excited about that. That's something Jim Hunt and a bunch of us have been working on for a while, so that will commit the borough to work with the committee over the next 6 months to make a policy that fits the borough. And just wanted to say again for the reaccreditation before, how proud I am to not only be on the council, but to be public safety and get to work with such a great group of men and women.
Thank you very much, Chief. As Councilman Pontier said, we had a huge success at National Night Out, our third big pushed in my way, first became chief, was to have a community-oriented event, where they got to meet not only police officers, but our first responders, and it's growing bigger and better every year, so we're trying to figure out what the next better thing is for, next August 2026, so stay tuned. Yes, coming with a cop, 250 cones served, 2 or more may have been eaten by me, but again, I've always been a big proponent of Connect, proponent since teaching DARE for 10 years. If you connect with the kids, you get the parents, so, it comes hand in hand, and have to show up with the kids, so we get to meet a wide range of our community, so thanks for all the support on that. Yes, our fleet is fully operational now. We have 6, the hybrid, had some small issues, but that's fully operational now, and Karr 3 is fully done from the shop with all the lights installed, so we have a fleet now operating of 6 police cars, helping alleviate some of the burden on some of our aging fleet, the mileage that went up on those cars, so just helps further on, especially with our traffic enforcement mission. First CERT meeting was yesterday. We had 7 people in attendance with, give or take 5 or so that couldn't make it. Mayor Karr, thank you for attending as well and supporting the project. We're looking to add more people, so the training initially, some of that is online, so if you're interested in getting involved, please reach out via email, or you can hit us on our social media or via our website. We'll get you set up with Lieutenant Guild and the training that goes along with that. Finally, September 2nd is our pedestrian crosswalk enforcement, 2 days before school. A AAA funded grant project will be warning motorists to stop for pedestrians and crosswalks, so be forewarned. Thank you again, Mayor and Council, for all your support in getting that forward to tight deadline. PD, a couple Saturdays, September and October, as well as visit various locations throughout town. We'll call with a cop coming up soon at the venue, September 20th, the one scheduled over at the collection, and then visitations by me at our farmers market. So looking forward to sharing our proposed plans with the community as we realize it's a big impact on the town. So appreciate all your support. Thank you very much. If there's any questions or comments, that concludes my report.
So this is the CERT flyer here that you may see around town, but I went to that meeting last night. I told a little story, and I talked to Mike about this when I first became mayor, and then we had COVID and all kinds of other stuff trying to. So finally, this is getting implemented, and so it's a big undertaking, and I give everybody a lot of credit. But the people that were here last night, they went around the room to introduce everybody. Their expertise in different areas, right?
Mental health, electrical engineers.
Yeah, electrical engineers, a builder, a ham radios, communication guy, so there was all kinds of things and areas that these people can be utilized in. I really think, it could be from 18 to 80, right? So you need people to hand out water, you need people to build things, you need people just to be there, right? And so there's a spot for everybody, so I really encourage you to talk it up amongst your friends and neighbors. There's plenty of free training that's involved, and not only helps the borough and the communities surrounding us, but also can help you and your family and your neighbors. So it's something that really consider. So thank you. Public Works, Mr. Bruhn.
Just to add a little bit to the ticket sales, we thought it'd be a smart idea to do $1 tickets, which it was, but with a lot of tickets, so we sold a lot of onesie, twosies. We sold some companies that bought 500 tickets, which is a lot of handwriting to fill out your name and phone number. But we have a lot of dedicated members that have sat at the farmers market and sold a bunch of tickets there. Uncle Giuseppe, so it's a big undertaking. But, we're happy to do it and give back to the community. So, and then to just touch on National Night Out, I'm not sure if you said it enough, but the DPW did bring over their street sweeper and some of their larger vehicles, which kind of made like a touch of truck for the young kids. So that was exciting, along with the police and fire apparatus. So it was a great night. The town DPW, they worked on town vehicles daily, picked up the garbage from all our parks, did a couple rounds of brush pickup. As the mayor mentioned earlier, some of you might not have heard, we were able to receive a flagpole from Mr. Fort Jones. That's a great idea. It's over at Simon's Park, so the DPW installed that for us. They worked closely with the Shade Tree Commission, so they trimmed a bunch of trees in town, and they cut down some dead trees on Northview. They have a bucket truck, so it's a certain height that they can remove, but they save the taxpayers money instead of have an outside contractor remove those. The teen center school will be starting back up, and so by the 9/11 Memorial, at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That'll be starting up soon, so we did some work over to freshen it up, make sure everything's working properly for the kids to, do their games after school. They spread some wood chips over at Central Avenue. They cleaned and weed whacked all the walking paths, blew the sidewalks in the center of town, and they continue to do their street sweeping, so we appreciate all that they do. And then Billy might want to get on the beautification committee. If you're watering those plants, it's much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Yeah, the ladies do a great job. There were a couple of gentlemen that there's quite a bit of weeding that they've been doing lately, because the crabgrass miraculously grows in no rain. So they continue to clean up their areas. They're all kind of assigned areas where they plant and maintain, so they do a great job, and we appreciate them. So that's all I have there.
Oh, buildings and grounds.
Eric, one
Oh,
more
sorry.
report.
I'm sorry, Bill.
Yeah.
Looking at something else,
Thanks, Bill.
Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I finally get to report that our road projects are underway. You probably all know that already. But, the work started on around August 10th. Started on Glenbrook Road. All of the, and includes, just so everybody remembers, includes Cleveland Avenue, Brook Drive, Davenport Avenue, Ringwood Road, Beach Drive, Forest Avenue, Forest Court, and Sun Valley Way, in addition to Glenbrook Road. Both projects are being done by the same contractor. All of the prep work, we call it, is done on all the roads. That's the curbs, the sidewalks, other pertinent work that gets done before the milling and paving. That was completed as of yesterday. Next week, starting Monday, the milling and milling and paving operations will get underway.
Aggressive. An aggressive.
Yes.
Milling and paving.
Yes, and it's gonna start on Glenbrook. Chief is gonna be coordinating with the contractor, myself, priorities for the other streets. There's certain ones that the chiefs like to see go ahead of others, but we'll work that out as we go. And, that's all I really have to report.
We try to get all these road projects in before the school opens and the buses.
That's the idea.
The buses start going, so that's why
It's a big push, yeah.
aggressive schedule here last week. I really appreciate everybody's patience throughout this whole process. Glenbrook has been quite a while. These other roads and infrastructure improvements that we've been doing is really has taken its toll on the residents, and I appreciate that.
And we do expect some Saturday work this weekend.
This weekend on Glenbrook, yeah.
Can I ask Bill a question? Yeah. So for the construction on Sun Valley Way, are the speed tables going to remain? Are they going to be reinstalled? Or?
I believe so.
No. Okay, public buildings and grounds.
Thank you, Mayor. It's so nice to read a report and have an audience like this. I thank you all for taking your time and coming out here. Usually I read, there's nobody there, one person. So thank you all for coming out. It makes me, I think for everybody at council, it makes us feel good. It makes us feel important. So they say to start with the quickest report first, so I'm gonna do Shade Tree. There is no report because they had no meeting. All right, then we have downtown Morris Plains and some updates. They hosted a business roundtable to all of the docks last week. A big group of Morris Plains business owners attended and enjoyed speed networking. They celebrated some exciting milestones for local businesses, including 15 years for Terry Hernandez State Farm. I know they were there that long. And an open house for Messy Smock, Morris Plains' newest business. They will continue showcasing local businesses at the farmers market in Regalo and Hometown Pet Shop in September. They're busy planning for the pumpkin illumination, which we all know was a success last year. The next roundtable is small business Saturday and special interest for next year's Centennial. You can check their websites if you want to know more about dates and what's going on. Then we have the farmers market. It was an awesome August. Everyone worked so hard. I was away for most of August on a vacation, but I heard only great things. The watermelon carving contest was a hit, and Produce Pete, a lot of creativity. Big thanks for, I want to put on record for Provident Bank for donating a fantastic first place prize for watermelon contest, and a big thank you to White Coat Brokers, our entertainment and event sponsor, who support and allows us to bring this political events to life. And also, most of you get to Newsbeat, you can see the pictures that were on there from that. This is when I first joined, I first went to the first game, the state level about a high bikini of your neighbor's property. Now,
When I first thought it was a joke. But you kind of fell in love with it just because it's a name. So anyway, they had that last week, and believe it or not, in the middle of the contest, they had to go out and get zucchinis. So, so next year, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna grow some more zucchinis for them, so I'm paying them. Special thanks also to Mountain Way School and Borough School for spreading the information out. And then in August, there will be some more music. And then in September, the schedule is packed with even more live music, plus exciting additions like face painting and story time at the market, which I think is a nice thing. The goal of the farmers market continues to be a vibrant and fun, must-visit place in Marsh Plains. And they also help with the, again, I'm piggybacking on Art and Tyler with the 50-50 raffle tickets. They help them a lot, selling them. There was always someone nearby. Thank you all for the farmers market. You listening to me? All right. All right, then we have the recreation report. Just so you guys know that the Borough School will be offering youth and adult basketball and soccer program. This has been going on for a long, long time. You know, new people are coming in town that want to, play some hoop or some soccer. Let them know. They can check the website. I think soccer is Wednesday nights, basketball, I think it might be Tuesday, Thursday, but just verify that they haven't started yet. Over at the community center, open basketball nights will be available on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, while open pickleball courts will be offered on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We're also offering Zumba on Tuesdays as well as morning and evening yoga sessions throughout the week. Our senior programs at the community center includes exercise classes with Jessica and watercolor painting during the day. For our youth program, we're hosting USSI, which we use for the longest time, for tennis and parent and me sports on Mondays and Tuesdays. Over at Watnong, we introduced pickleball lessons. Thanks to everyone for approving that and getting that in council. It's been a tremendous success. Sunday mornings and Thursday evenings. What I like about saying this is that this report touches everybody, from little kids, middle, the athletes, and the seniors. And it's just, that's what makes our Marsh Plains so great. Best little town, east of the Mississippi. Got that. All right. Also, on March 8th, there will be a doubles game. If anybody wants to go, they're $49. And if I'm not mistaken, they're playing Detroit, which is a great team. I'm almost done.
Is that March 8th?
Yeah, March 8th, 2026. I'm pretty sure it's right news. And then you have the garage sales on October 5th and 6th. Usually about 50 homes, so you guys want to leave some time and go look around, treasure hunting. And I mentioned that. We have our September 11th event, also on the 11th at 10 a.m. at the right around 53 at the memorial. And it's always a touching. I hope you guys can attend and spread the word out. Very touching, something that changed our lives. Everyone knows exactly where they were in that building, and when you go there on that day, it feels like it just happened. So it's time to understand what our country was going through, and what we are still going through, and trying to peace bring it to the world. Opening date for soccer, September 6th at 9 a.m. Simons Park. Bill, I just got one little note.
Yes.
During your whatever work, roads and had this or that, if you cut down a tree, you gotta do me a favor. Just send an email to the Shade Situation. We're not protesting, they gotta come down for public safety. But it just, when they might get calls, they may not know about it.
I understand.
I am done with my report. Everybody get home safe.
Just
How long is
piggybacking
that?
on
5
the,
minutes.
I think it was 7, but you only had 5.
The public said it was 5.
Just piggybacking on the 9/11 services, this year we're gonna have Sue Riccadelli is gonna be speaking on her day of the actual 9/11, how her plane got diverted to Canada, and they were taken in by a town up there in Canada, and a very interesting story. They made a play about it, they wrote a book about it. I think they were looking 100% sure, but yeah, she,
From away.
yeah. So be very interesting, so I hope you'll show up September 11th at 10 a.m. Ordinances, I'm sorry, public health and sanitation, sewer, Mr. Ivey.
Thank you, Mayor. Municipal Alliance met on August 4th, and they're busy working on fall events. First will be the Eat Dinner with the Family Night, which will be held on September 22nd, and which is also National Family Day. Details will be sent to residents via backpack mail from the schools and in borough email for more details. Stage fund registration opened on August 16th for children in grades 4 through 8. There's a 20 student limit for those interested, so if you are interested and have not yet registered, please do so as soon as possible. Links to the registration, more details on Stage Fund, or in the last borough email that was sent on August 15th. For those that are just interested in seeing the performance, it'll be held at 2 p.m. In the Community Center on November 1st. New initiative that was brought to the Alliance, the Lindsay Meyer Teen Institute provides innovative alcohol, tobacco, and other drug prevention and leadership training programs for high school students in New Jersey. 2 students from the Morris Plains area are attending this week, a week-long camp that will be engaging with the Alliance throughout this next year for them to develop their action plan for drug prevention in the community. The Teen Center is also preparing for their fall events, which is the first one in September. Registration is currently open, so if there are any kids that are interested in grades 6 to 8, please register online before the first event to help the sign-in process go as smoothly as possible. And again, thanks to the DPW for doing all that great work, painting, cleaning up around the house to give it a fresh look. Board of Health did not meet this month, but they're working towards their Wellness Day on October 18th. And lastly, Clean Communities has been busy this spring and summer, hosting 11 cleanups around town, resulting in 46 bags of trash being picked up for the total, so please pick up your litter.
It's out of towners that litter.
All the time.
Not the residents. Once again, I'd just like to recognize Carole Howell, 40 years as Secretary of the Board of Health, is a real staple here, and she did a fantastic job. Now replaced, and she will be missed. Ordinances and public utilities, Mr. Giuseppe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just on a planning board update, so they did have their meeting, actually this past Monday, August 18th. While there were no applications to review, they did discuss the updated application process. A few members of the planning board have requested hard copies of all the previous application documents and the zoning board of adjustment meeting minutes. Probably the intent there is to compare the old and the new and be prepared to discuss the new application during the September meeting. So that next meeting is Monday, September 15th, 7:30 here in this room. Zoning Board of Adjustment, they canceled their July and their August meetings as they have no applications to review. Just on the Zoning Board and Planning Board application itself. So back in February, myself, Mr. Ryden, Dave Schultz, and Mike Garavaglia met as the application checklist committee with the goal of simplifying the process for applying for variances. The current process is over 30 pages and is confusing to applicants. There are also a number of documents that don't apply to residents applying for a variance to their houses versus a business owner applying for a variance for a commercial property. So we sought out to reduce the amount of paperwork, make the application easy to navigate, put it online, and direct the applicants to only the documents they need. We have a good draft, which we sent to the Zoning Board of Adjustment and to the Planning Board in March. The Zoning Board of Adjustment have reviewed it back in May and has proposed some minor updates to the draft. We now await the Planning Board's review, which we hope will occur in September, so that we can combine the two boards' updates and make our recommendation back to this governing body for ultimate approval and adoption. Our ultimate goal is to provide a better service to our boards, our businesses, and to our residents. Just on some construction updates. So July 2025 construction update. Our annex office collected $393,987 in permit fees. A large part of that was from the Wecker property that's over there in the Wecker area. Yes, 310. Thank you, sir. The 415, 435 Speedwell, which is Friendly / McDonald's. As most residents have seen, demo's ongoing. I did walk by the site the other day, saw that there's a water truck over there that's being used to keep the dust down. The residents did have some concerns about the fence obstructing the sightline at 202, and I believe that was addressed and the fence got pulled back. 329 Speedwell, which is the Acme, was the Acme, is now going to be Rivian. They're continuing work over there. Littleton Road, 225 Littleton, which is Weichert. They're well underway doing demo over on the building there. There's still no movement on the tenant for the warehouses over there. Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to add for any of that?
On what you said?
Yes.
As far as the warehouse or anything?
Or any of the construction, anything going on in town?
No. Okay. I don't know, they had some activity through the post office, but I haven't seen anybody or talked to anybody over there. I have no idea.
My son keeps
There's a lot of people that keep asking. I know the Board of Health has been in there for some inspections, right? The dumpling? Yes, but I haven't heard that anything. is-
Dumpling place up on,
Oh,
I think it's next to the Skechers on, Coles Complex.
Yeah, I don't know why it's taking so long. Well, we gotta get a motion.
And then just on ordinances, so tonight, the public will see that ordinance 9-2025 is on the agenda. Just a reminder that this ordinance requires multifamily dwelling units to obtain certificates of compliance for smoke sensitive devices. This essentially updates the existing ordinance to require not just smoke detectors, but also carbon monoxide detectors in 1- and 2-family residences, as well as the new multi-unit residential structures that have gone up. The multi-unit structures are listed on a 5-year inspection cycle to ensure that all life safety devices are properly maintained. So that's on second reading tonight. I have, Chief, I did get your recommendation on an e-bike. So I know Fire Marshal Shea has also sent me something on that as well. So we'll be taking a look at that with the committee in the next couple of weeks. Yes. This is part of the ordinance. Mr. Mayor, anything on ordinances?
Yes, I do. I have an occupancy of dwelling ordinance that I drafted. I've been getting a lot of complaints about it.
Okay.
Something I, since the beginning of the year, that we've been hoping to get on the books. It's prepared, have the committee take a look at it, make some additions or some changes to it, the whole package. Don't want.
Oh, it's all for him.
Except for like.
I wasn't sure.
So hopefully we can get that on to the next meeting, introduction.
Good, I'm glad we're doing something about that.
All right, we'll take a look at it and I'll review it with the committee.
So hopefully we can get that on to the next meeting. Sure.
Yeah, I've had some, that's like the stacking we were saying and whatnot, or, yeah, I've had lots of.
Occupancy dwelling.
Okay, perfect, that's good, I've had a lot of stuff.
And then,
It's been going on for a long time. Gotta get that going.
and then just on affordable housing, there's really nothing for us to do at this point. Everything is in the, I'll say the court's hands at this point, right?
We have until, I think it's the 28th or the 30th, to see if there's any objection to our numbers or whatever. We'll see what happens. I don't expect to hear anything until 4:31 that day, so.
How it happened last
it
time.
goes,
Yeah.
and we'll see where we end up.
But just to remind the public, right, we've met all of our obligations that we've had to meet, that were mandated to us by the state. And so we're in compliance with all that, so now we're waiting for them to respond back to all that, so. And that is my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We have no introductions of ordinances, yes, sir.
Sorry, just when Bill mentioned about the dust, a couple residents on Birch were complaining about how dusty that drop yard is over there, and that's always been the drop yard for, I'm just saying, like, when they were doing construction. Are they required to put any kind of, like a dust mitigation or spray it down? So I know it's rain, so it's good now, but.
My answer is yes, no matter where they put it or whatever they do, they have to observe pest control and so.
Why didn't somebody call and let somebody know?
Yeah, I mean, it was just the other day.
Well, that demo work that's going on is under the construction office right now.
No, the parking area
Outside
itself.
of this park, where they've been.
Where they stage.
That they're staging for the
Sorry,
paving of the roads, yeah.
from the road.
Those
We
residents
said
in there,
demo work and I
yeah,
went over there.
they've been living there 20, 30 years, like, it's been the staging area, and
Yeah.
they said it was
Yes, the
dusty.
answer is yes, I'll talk to you.
They'll be out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
It's too late now. us something earlier.
It was like this week, and I'm like, you know, it's getting old, it's getting dusty, because they get there at 7 or 6:45, and they sit out. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's,
Should've let people know that there would be any things like that, so should let us know.
you know, just recent.
Yeah. No ordinances on introduction, we do have ordinances on second reading, Mr. Houston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, Councilmember Houston, read by title the ordinance entitled Ordinance Number 9-2025, an ordinance providing for partial amendment of Chapter 11, Article 2, Section 11-16 for the revised ordinances of the Borough of Morris Plains, New Jersey, 1972, and quote, to require multifamily dwelling units to obtain certificates of compliance for smoke-sensitive devices, which ordinance was introduced and passed on first reading at a meeting held on July 17th, 2025.
I open a meeting for a public hearing on this ordinance. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I close the public hearing.
I, Councilmember Houston, state that the above ordinance, as read by title on second reading at this meeting, be adopted and finally passed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cortese?
Yes.
Mr. Bruhn?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Ivey?
Yes.
Mr. Pontier?
Yes.
Ms. Verga?
Yes.
Okay, we have no resolutions, no unfinished business. We do have vouchers.
I move that vouchers in the amount of $2,836,024.42 be approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cortese. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cortese?
Yes.
Mr. Bruhn?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Ivey?
Yes.
Mr. Pontier?
Yes.
Ms. Verga?
Yes.
We do need a quick executive session. We do have the block party coming up next Saturday. I hope to see everybody there. The Merchants Block, and we'll have lots of games and prizes for everybody, rides and eats and drinks and all kinds of stuff. So I hope to see you there next Saturday. Thank you all for coming out. We're going into executive. We will come back, so if you don't have to wait. Enjoy the rest of your summer, everybody.